wondering who could possibly be more charming than Colin Firth and get Uma's heart. But Jeffrey certainly is very charming in a very different way. So it was interesting to see how, when a film is well cast, the same story, girls meet boy meets the other boy, can once again find the sparkle.
I'd seen a first or second episode of Grey's Anatomy that co-starred, had a guest character that Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in, of a guy who was dying of cancer and falls in love with his doctor. This guy was a star, and he just ran away with it 10 episodes in a row, and I was just completely glued to this guy. I thought, this is like, where has he been? How come a guy, I'm just becoming aware of a guy in his 40s who's that talented. Millions and millions of other women asked themselves the same question, and they all fell in love with him. So I knew I was on the right track in terms of finding someone who women would find attractive.
It's completely different than anything I've really ever done. It's a lot harder than you would expect it to be. Yeah, I think you have to be on your toes a lot more, and the delivery is so important, and the script is so important, because you can kind of massage a drama and at least kind of find your way with that. But when you're trying to hit a punchline, if you don't hit it, it's just not funny, and it's kind of sad. So yeah, it's a different ballgame. I hung out with a couple of firemen. What a good group of people. Terry Quinn is kind of a real famous New York fireman, and he's consulted on everything from Rescue Me to World Trade Centers to this, and I hung out with him a couple times. I had a couple beers with him, and then we hung out with the New York Fire Department soccer team. And I can't say enough good things about those guys. Just a really good group of guys, and I mean, they're friggin' heroes.
My brother, Carl.
Carl? Your name is Carl too? This is a small world.
I can't believe I was lucky enough to get Colin. I mean, I really worked it. I sort of begged him, and inundated him with emails and called in favors from people we knew in common, and had other people sort of threaten his life. And so he had to do it, because he was getting a lot of pressure. But I was really lucky to get him.
Colin is just so funny and so on the mark and graceful and witty that it's a combination of flavors that make the scenes each feel different, and it's exciting.
He's like the king of it, I guess him and Hugh Grant would be kind of the icons of the romantic comedy. And I only had like one scene with him, but I got to hang out with him a little bit, and yeah, he's genuinely funny. Like, hanging out with him, I get him doing it. I don't think I'm very funny, is the thing. So, hanging out with him, I was a little intimidated by his humor. He was a little too funny for me.
It's on its own merits that I would pick one. I didn't choose it because I liked the genre. I chose it because it had Uma in it, and it had Griffin directing it, and it had Jeffrey and Sam Shepard, and Isabella Rossellini. That is an extraordinarily attractive package. It'd be almost inconceivable for me to say no to something which offers all that. Griffin was an enormous part of the appeal for me. He has long been one of my favorite actors. I think, in terms of comedy performances, I don't think I've ever seen anybody better. He's been somebody I've tried to imitate over the years, probably, with not much success. So he's gone from being one of my favorite actors to being one of my favorite directors now.
You know what? It was fantastic to work with him as a director, Griffin, because he's one of the few people I've worked with in my life whose demeanor as a director is not very different than his demeanor at the dinner table. And that's unusual. Usually it's like, kind of people get very stressed by the authority of being a director, and it can impact their personality. Griffin really was as charming and as considerate of the crew and of the actors as he sort of is as a person. And one, that's wonderful to see, and know that it's possible. So it you know, because you always worry when you work with a friend, like, will it hurt your friendship? And I don't think it did. I hope not. That'd be my loss. But and instead, it was good.
He's awesome. I mean, I don't know what to say about him other than, you know, if I could work with him every job for the rest of my life, I would, because he's just a great guy, and he brings a sense of humor every day, and him being an actor, he's good at talking, well, to me, and helping me through some of my bumps in the road.
Griffin is absolutely adorable. He is very funny. He's an actor, and I could tell that he could play every role maybe even better than any of us can do it, and he refrains. But sometimes as we do the scene, I can see in the corner of my eyes that he's there in front of the monitor doing all the characters. And he's very amusing, and he's very charming, and the director so much determines the atmosphere on the set. And having a little clown like him around, it was a pleasure to be in this film.
Sam Shepard is one of the reasons I moved to New York to be an actor. You know, it was, you know, his plays were the kind of things I wanted to do. In fact, I did do Cowboy Mouth in a workshop production that Sam would never have heard of. So I kind of can't believe that I got to actually end up directing this man I've been in awe of for so long. And it took a moment to get used to, you know, because you kind of are in, like I'm telling Sam Shepard how to, you know, I'm directing him, and I'm telling him the words to say that some of them I wrote, and Jesus Christ, I hope this works.
New York City Fire Department, ladies and gentlemen, official business. Please exit the elevator.
I'm gonna have to ask you to stop what you're doing immediately.
The Accidental Husband.
Stop it. Stop it now, please.